Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? Hey, how are you? How are you? Yeah. So, guys, it's Kevin Matiru. I'm back again. It's the 23rd of November. I'm excited about. It's Monday. It's Money Monday. I'm excited. So, yeah. So on today's video, I want us to talk about. I just wanted to talk about Bitcoin and the stock to flow model. Yeah, so if you haven't hit the like button, hit the subscription button, and to also watch my previous videos, the links are down there below, so make sure to follow that. Yeah, so I'll be releasing content every week related to finance, cryptocurrencies, forex trading. Yeah, so as I said earlier, I'm really grateful. Welcome back to this channel. So yeah, on today's video, as I mentioned earlier, I want to talk about Bitcoin and the stock to flow model. So basically, the stock to flow model is a way to measure the abundance of a particular natural resource. Okay, so, and it's normally applied to natural resources such as gold, silver, mostly the precious metals. Yeah, so basically, the stock to flow ratio, S to F ratio, is gotten using the two metrics. So we have the stock. The stock refers to the total supply that's currently available in the world. That's the stock. For example, for gold, the World Gold Council estimates that currently in the world there's about 190,000 tons. 190,000 tons of troy ounce of gold. That is the stock. And then we have the flow, the annual flow. That's the annual supply. It estimates that there's about 2,500 to 3,200 troy ounce of gold. That's the supply now. So we have those two metrics. So the S to F ratio, that is the stock to flow ratio, can be gotten using the two metrics. That is, you just divide the total supply divided by the total annual supply. Yeah, so you get the stock to flow ratio. Okay, so yeah, so it basically shows how much the total annual supply is relative to the total supply that's currently held in the world. Yeah, so you find that the higher the stock to flow ratio, the higher the S to F ratio, the less supply enter into the market for that particular resource. Okay, so as such, an asset with a higher S to F ratio, stock to flow ratio, will tend to maintain its value over the long term because of the basic law of supply and demand. Okay, so I hope we're together up until that. So we have the stock, that's the total amount of the particular resource that's held in reserve globally. And then we have also now the annual flow. The annual flow now being now the supply that gets into the market annually for that particular resource. So you get the S to F ratio by dividing those two metrics. Okay, so let's look at the stock to flow ratio for gold. Yes, so using the two metrics, there were 90,000 tons troy ounce of gold that the World Gold Council estimates that's the total amount of gold. So divided by the annual flow of average of 3,200 troy ounce of gold, that's the annual flow. So you find that gold has when you divide 190,000 tons divided by the 3,200, you get a stock to flow ratio of about 59. So gold has the highest stock to flow ratio. Okay, so perfect. So and then we have now, like, okay, that's the stock to flow ratio for the gold. If you come to think of it, you multiply the price, the current price of gold, that is average of 1882, per troy ounce multiplied by the total supply of gold, you get that the total market cap of gold is coming to around 10 trillion. Yeah. And that's what I mentioned, because like you compare gold alone and also cryptocurrencies, and you find that the current market cap of cryptocurrencies is only 500 billion, and being the market cap of gold now is almost like 10 times that of the market cap of the total supply of all coins, you see. So cryptocurrencies really have a huge potential to appreciate, as in terms of the whole market cap. Yeah. So that's gold and the stock to flow ratio. And then when now you compare gold, like, come to think of it, that 10 trillion is not really that huge, because you actually find if you can combine that whole gold into one cube, it could actually fit in one whole football stadium. So it's not that huge. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at now the comparison between gold and Bitcoin. Okay, so gold and Bitcoin, or rather gold, silver, these have been considered to be real. They're not just investments, they are also real money. Okay, if you come to look at the characteristics of money and you compare also gold and also Bitcoin, you find like there's a divisibility, consistency in value, it's impossible to fake, divisibility as well. Yeah, so you find like silver, gold, Bitcoin, they have these characteristics. Yeah, and also let's have a look at the comparison. So gold and silver, it's impossible to increase their supply in the world as you just wish, you see, because they are scarce resources. Okay, perfect. And then we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also a very scarce digital commodity. Why? Because you see, Bitcoin, for gold and silver, it's impossible to increase their supply. Yeah, as you just wish. Also for gold, also for Bitcoin, I mean, it's impossible to just increase the supply. So the supply is actually predicted. So the way you go about it is, the Bitcoin protocol has already a specific number of units that are going to ever be produced. Okay, so for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin protocol allows for up to 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be into existence. Okay, so and currently there is about the annual supply, that is the stock that is currently available. There's currently over 18 million and 500 thereabout. 18,500,000. So there's 18,500,000 BTC that's currently in the supply, and the total market cap is the total number of units that will ever be produced is 21 million Bitcoins. So you find currently there's more demand. There's more demand for Bitcoin. So you find now more people are they want to get they are rushing for the remaining 2 million and something Bitcoins. They all want to get hold of it. And then you look at the annual flow, the annual supply of Bitcoin that is coming into the market each year. It is actually predetermined, you see. So before the May halving, it was 0.7 million Bitcoin that comes into the market. So you divide the total number of units, the stock, 18 million, and you divide the 18 million and 500 divided by the 0.7 million, you get Bitcoin had a stock to flow ratio of about it was about 25 thereabout. Yeah, if you divide those two. So but after the May halving is where now the number of through the process of mining, the number of Bitcoins that come into the market, it is actually halved. So after the May halving, the number of Bitcoins that come into the market each year now is about 0.35 million Bitcoin. Okay, that's about 350,000 Bitcoins. So that come into the market each year. and then you look at the amount of stock, 18,500,000 bitcoins. You divide those two metrics. Bitcoin now, after the May halving, has a stock to flow ratio of about 53, 55 thereabout. And so, and after now these 4 years, because the halving normally comes after every 4 years, so after these 4 years in 2022 thereabout, we have another halving. So this asset class is actually getting more scarce and more scarce, you see. So you get to have that the stock to flow ratio for Bitcoin will always be increasing. So as I mentioned earlier on the stock to flow ratio, the assumption is those assets with those resources which have the stock to flow ratio which is high, they get to keep their value over the long term. Silver, check about the case of gold. They have kept their values over the long term. Gold prices always getting higher and higher. So Bitcoin, there's more demand for this asset. The supply is going lower and lower. So you see, this asset class, its stock to flow ratio will be continuing to increase. There's more demand for Bitcoin. It's becoming more and more legal. So you see, it's an asset class that you really want to get involved in. Also for Litecoin, also for the Bitcoin protocol, the Litecoin protocol, again, the maximum number of Litecoin that will ever be produced is 84 million. So you see, all these assets, you can really see like the long term, and you get to find that you can find them all in the Binance ecosystem, you see. So you can be able to buy Bitcoin. That's the next video. So make sure to also subscribe there. So I'll show you how to go about purchasing from a peer-to-peer through Binance, and how you can also do a deposit through credit card. Yeah, you can also use PayPal, you can use Payeer, Skrill, Neteller. They have all those payment methods. So that's also another thing you ought to consider, like when you're choosing like your exchange. So look for a whole ecosystem that has all these. Yeah, so make sure to. So yeah, Bitcoin, I've mentioned the stock to flow ratio for it. So yeah, I think, yeah, I've mentioned basically almost everything about the stock to flow ratio. Oh yeah, also just comparison of Bitcoin and gold. You get to find that they are limited in quantity. I mentioned that they're they're also independent from other asset classes. So for example, we have fiat, we have stocks, we have bonds. These asset classes are normally affected by the regulations, the financial regulators, the government, the whatever they're doing, it affects these asset classes. But you get to find that because Bitcoin is now decentralized, then there's no way that it's going to be really that much affected in terms of the prices by these announcements and these activities by the government and also by the financial regulators. Also, it's impossible to fake. One thing about the Bitcoin ecosystem is that the blockchain is really revolutionary in terms of record keeping, and also in terms of validating the transactions. So because it's impossible to create other fake versions of it. So yeah, so man, yeah, on the next video I'll be talking about the buying peer-to-peer currencies. So make sure to subscribe and shares, leave a like, leave a comment. In case of any questions, my details are also down below, so you can always hit me up. Yeah, sure. Cheers guys, and have an awesome week.